Well, I think it's really a mindset. You have to decide we're going to try to do things differently. Well, provided that they're better. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be different and better. But I think you just have to sort of decide. Let's think beyond the normal stuff and have an environment where that sort of thinking is encouraged and rewarded, and where it's okay to fail as well. Because when you try new things, you try this idea, that idea, well, a large number of them are not going to work. And that has to be okay. If every time somebody comes up with an idea that has to be successful, you're not going to get people coming up with ideas. Well, I try to make it a really fun place to work, really enjoyable. I talk about the grand, the vision of SpaceX, where we want to go. We want to take people to orbit and beyond. We ultimately want to be the company that makes a difference in extension of life beyond Earth, which is one of the most important things that life itself could achieve. And so sort of you construct this, like there's this great holy grail potential in the future. You have to stay grounded in the short term. So, because if you don't do things that pay the bills, you're not going to achieve the ultimate long-term objective. But it's nice to have that sort of holy grail long-term potential out there as an inspiration for coming to work. Well, it is easy to get somewhat blasé about a rocket factory if you're here every day. I mean, this really is a rocket factory, and you're walking around and that's a rocket engine, and that's a stage that's going to go to orbit, and that's a spacecraft that's going to carry people to the space station, and these are actually pretty remarkable things. I have to remind myself of that from time to time, because as I walk around, all I tend to see are, oh, we got to fix that, we got to improve this, we got to change that design. So you have to sort of bring myself back, think about the big picture, and remind myself that this is actually pretty cool, unusual stuff. Also, I think it's good to combine engineering and production. So have development and production close together, because when you're trying to make something, there's a big leap between making that first prototype and actually manufacturing it in large quantity with good quality. It's really hard to make that leap. And for some reason, people decide, oh, they're going to do the engineering here and do the manufacturing, the other side of the world. And I think that actually ends up often being pretty inefficient. I like that combination of engineering and production. I do want to go to space, and eventually it would be really cool if I could go to Mars. That would be super awesome. But this is not about me getting to space. It's really about enabling others to get to space. It's about enabling the extension of life beyond Earth. So I'd like to go in the first one, but I actually, if I didn't have all these so much depending on me, I would actually. Early in life, I did lots of risky things when I didn't have that much that was depending on me. Now I have to be more cautious about risky things. It would be at least as important as life going from the oceans to land, and arguably more important, because life could go gradually from the oceans to land, and if it's got a little uncomfortable on the beach, you could hop back in the ocean. But extending life to another planet is a huge quantum leap. You have to go hundreds of millions of miles across an extremely hostile environment to a planet which is completely unlike anything you've evolved to live on. I think the United States is more open to new ideas than any country in the world. And I think it's becomes somewhat of a self-fulfilling prophecy, in that because the United States is open to new ideas, it attracted people from around the world who had new ideas. So now it's filled with people who like new ideas. And who aren't bound by history. But I think people can choose to be not ordinary. They can choose to not necessarily conform to the conventions that were taught to them by their parents. So yes, I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary.